For those who joined us for part one and are joining us now for part two, thank you very much. We'll be commencing or continuing our AMA.
Great. Now, let's go to NuGenesis, jump into NuGenesis and its obsession with security. Dual level AI security, penetration teams, and now we'll find out some more. Now, what I want to do is paint a picture of what you confronted and ask you to comment. So, NuGenesis set its mission on being the blockchain system necessary to cater for the influx of new users into the crypto space as mass adoption kicks in. This meant that exploits should not be possible on the NuGenesis system. Now, NuGenesis wanted to welcome and give comfort to mainstream and growing number of crypto adopters. So you had to break with the old school patterns in the crypto space. You believe that, for example, lost mnemonics should not be a concern that prevents a new user generation enjoying the benefits of our revolutionary tech. Likewise, hackers should not be able to effect an illegal fraud. Those gains should be burned and restored to the user. In this context, NuGenesis' obsession with security began. Another thing is the NuGenesis dual AI level security. The internal AI Navis ensures the randomness of validation nodes and overall internal integrity. The external AI, Reactor, correct, being the best available in the market, focuses on external threats. At the same time, you're up to 65 penetration teams at one point, testing for weaknesses in the system. So in this context, can I invite you to comment on what security you tried to achieve to give comfort for those coming into the crypto space?
All right. Before we answer this question, can we context how it started the idea of AI? Okay, so let's just give a bit of context. Let's go back to when we first started. We were looking for a system which basically could be enterprise, right? Could actually have transactional speeds at the time of over 100,000 transactions a second with having no limitations. So we faced a lot of issues with people and the ideology of proof of work and proof of stake being the required or necessary proving system or validation system.
Absolutely.
Or consensus system. And this is where the idea of, okay, if people need further trust, why don't we build an AI? I mean, we all know AI is AI, right? There's no argument about AI not cheating. There's no argument about AI doing anything other than it's taught. So let's just be very clear. So we thought, let's add AI. For the first case was only for the validation system. So we wanted to have AI sitting down, watching the validators and sitting on the nodes and watching everything that was happening as sort of validators. So if there was two things, first of all, to maintain that if there was an attack on a validator, the AI could pick it up and turn off the validation system or turn off the nodes. Right. Second, so the AI can monitor exactly what's going on in the network and ensure there is no corruption, no fraud, no cheat, no hack, nothing else. But then it got more than that. I mean, then we realized the AI could be utilized for the KYC and the AML process. And then we went further to the AI looking at, I mean, even the toggles that you guys created and the analysis. I mean, we've even got AIs doing price predictions. I mean, there's a lot of technology that you guys aren't aware of yet.
Core tech investment in our platform.
Correct. So we've got an AI, and I'll let Louay speak a bit about the AI and the AI process, but we don't only have a dual layer AI on the blockchain, we have many forms of AI being utilized in our network. So Louay, do you want to start by giving a small introduction about AI, what it's doing in our network? I mean, I'll hand it over to you and let you take over.
Absolutely. Thank you very much again. So yes, with respect to AI, basically, we have moved from one core component to another core component on the actual platform, and incorporating AI technology, basically, from as you mentioned, basically the actual monitoring, the protection of the node validities, the node operational aspects, and to ensure that nodes are not hijacked or are not hacked, etc., etc. AI plays a big role there in protecting the actual integrity of the overall blockchain ecosystem. So, as you mentioned again, one of the actual protection mechanisms is to basically put the nodes into a protected mode, which means basically we protect all the transactions, definitely broadcasting on the network to our customers that such an incident is in place, and we are just working around to wrap it up and fixing the actual potential threat. That's one of the core implementations. and that required a lot of machine learning, basically, as you can, simulation and machine learning, and we got very good results on that aspect. Then AI moved on to play a big role in our compliance system, in terms of document validation, in terms of checking the integrity of the documents, making sure the actual sequence of documents that the KYC process requires, they all tally together, they make sense, they're related to the same individual, plus the analysis that gets done by AI. And one thing that we have also incorporated is the ongoing monitoring.
Correct.
And this is a big thing where AI is working 24/7 in terms of performing a lot of monitoring aspects to ensure that the data integrity is maintained, and if there's any sort of issues that occur on the platform, AI will tell us. Definitely, as you mentioned, you did mention a very brilliant aspect, is that the more you teach it, or the integral part of teaching AI is how AI is going to reflect back in terms of performing artificial intelligence. So with that in mind, basically, this AI analysis system, one of the brilliant things that we have achieved is that AI itself will inform us where it needs to enhance, where it needs to learn more, where it needs to learn more aspects and all that about the operational aspects, the responsibility that AI takes control over our platform. So the way we thought about things, the way we implement things, is that we don't only put trust in AI. We do put a level of trust in AI, but we also cater for the false cases. We also cater for the cases where AI is not being able to capture new normalities, we can say. Because as much as we can train it, as much as it's an evolution system, it evolves all the time. So here, with that implementation of the AI continuous analysis, we benefit from it as management team and as people who monitor the network, and also AI teaches us or tells us where it needs to be enhanced. Yeah. So that's a very important thing.
Now, I just want to make it very clear, this is just the AI, this is just NuGenesis.
Yes.
Right. NuGenesis is NuGenesis Artificial Validation Intelligence System. We have many forms of AI. Actually, in fact, we will speak a bit later on about the preservation protocol and the resurrection protocol.
Correct.
All both different AIs, and all both AIs learning and adopting, but this is not on blockchain, this is for the meta realm.
Correct.
Right. So our especially with artificial intelligence, our company utilizes AI in almost everything we do, and we plan to utilize AI much more going into the future, including with our blockchain solution, or our what we call the speed equation solution. So, we're very focused on artificial intelligence. At the moment, we are looking at building, and then I was going to the next question, new tower, and the new tower is a robotics and artificial intelligence tower, and full of staff that specialize in artificial intelligence and robotics.
And also, I want to mention, with the inclusion of the industry on utilizing artificial intelligence in our space, the more intelligent people we have on our team, AI does not mean that it's going to take over and reduce that aspect. We always build the core, integral part of people who are very smart, innovative, and basically arrive to our employment space with good research, good tactics in terms of technology innovation, and they remain with us as long as they can maintain these positions and also take the NuGenesis platform from one level to another.
Excellent.
So we know, for example, that AI can make decisions faster than a human can possibly make. So by the time you read and analyse, say, a news item, it takes 1 to 6 seconds for a human being, and an AI could do it in microseconds, nanoseconds, right? So it liberates, for anything routine function, it liberates the human so that they're free to make proper decisions, more qualitative decisions. Now, so you've seen it in areas where it can identify suspicious activity.
Correct.
Yeah, hold on. Whale manipulation.
Yes.
And it can even predict the price of a coin based on the sentiment faster than it's possible by humans.
Of course it is.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
tell us about this.
So we're talking about the Fishy Protocol. Now,
Absolutely.
guys, these names, again, we give the ability to our developers to name a lot of these protocols. So
And they take pride. They take pride in that.
So we actually love the idea of them naming these protocols. We support them. So we call this the Fishy Protocol. So something fishy.
Happens.
So, Louis, do you want to start talking about it? I'll take over.
Yeah, no, cool. That's great. Absolutely. So look, I mean, again, AI plays a big role on our compliancy level of things. So it's transaction monitoring, basically. So monitoring spikes in certain aspects of the transactions, and also monitoring transactions that are destined to cause a price shake. What do you call it?
So dump schemes, dump and buy schemes.
Yeah,
I
dump
don't
and
know
buy
if
schemes.
many
Basically.
people know what a dump and
More
a dump
industrial
and pump
terminology
scheme is.
from us. Yeah.
Sorry, pump and dump schemes. So we've actually got the Fishy Protocol, the AI, sitting down monitoring the system completely. I mean, the whole network. And what it does do is it looks at people and the way they utilize the system. So let's just say a whale decides, you know what, I'm going to buy $10 million of NuCoin, and then all of a sudden I'm going to dump all that NuCoin in one go. Me and my mates are going to get together. We're going to wait for the NuCoin price to drop at least 40-50% less than what we bought it. Then we're going to rebuy it, and then we're going to make sure that the coin goes back up. Now, the unfortunate thing is, it happens. It's actually what happens in the real world.
It's a practice that's
it
been
is.
happening.
It's a very common practice, especially pump and dumps, when many people come together just to lift up a price, and unfortunately, the last buyer is the guy that ends up losing a lot of money. Right? So we've got protocols in place to protect people. We've got protocols in place to ensure that a whale doesn't come into our system and decide to manipulate the prices. All right, they can put a ban. So what happens is it turns off their KYC. By turning off their KYC, it actually stops them from trading. All right.
Correct.
Now, and that then we speak obviously to the person
and the variable limitations of transaction limits at some
Correct.
point. So
Yeah.
that's all dynamic.
Now, we aren't talking about the normal trade. We are talking about when someone abuses the system. All right, so you're free to use the system as you wish. You're just not free to abuse the system. All right, and there's one thing that everyone keeps telling us about the issue of money. Guys, if you're a crook, do not use our system. Let me be very clear to you. All right, if you're a criminal, do not use our system. You do not want to be on the NuGenesis network if you're a crook. If your money isn't legit, if you're a drug dealer, if you're just pushing money from one area to another, if you're trying to wash money, you do not want to be in the NuGenesis network. The NuGenesis network is to help people. The NuGenesis network is not to help criminals. All right, so we have systems in place to protect users. We have systems in place to report users. All right, so very clear about that. If you're a criminal, this is not the system that you want to be on. All right, so keep very far away from the NuGenesis network.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be caught, and you're going to end up basically in a situation where you cannot transact, and your acts will not be accepted by the network, blocked from
Correct.
a lot of aspects.
And
Basically,
ultimately, people say, aren't we worried about hackers?
And-
Look, can I just make something very clear? We're building something to innovate, to help. Right? Most of the people that we know, most of the hackers we know, are very proud of what we're building, and I'm pretty sure most will continue to be proud of what we're building.
Yeah.
Now, saying that, if you are a hacker who's just out there to steal money, to steal crypto, don't bother. Right? On our system, it's not going to work for you. So if you do try to penetrate our system, you do try to take funds out of any single person's wallet, we can very easily reverse it. All right, I'm just going to make that very clear. Now, we do have options for users who want to go on the DEX. We have a full decentralized exchange, but if you put your coins on the full decentralized exchange, you take responsibility. All right, now all our network is decentralized. I know we do have some parts of networks or some networks we built that are not decentralized. Now, we aren't a one network, we aren't one blockchain, so we have many types of blockchains, many types of centralization. So the argument of being decentralized, segmented, yeah.
Yep.
So anyone that wants to argue about being decentralized, centralized, guys, that's nothing. All right, we can give you a centralized blockchain, we can give you a full decentralized blockchain. I mean, we've got, from what I understand, one of the fastest decentralized full exchanges that currently exist on the face of the earth.
Yeah.
All right, so we have every option as possible. The argument of being centralized or decentralized is not valid in our system because it comes up to the user and where the user wants to put it. You want the security of part centralization? We have it. You want the security of centralization? We have it. You want the full security of decentralization? It's up to you guys. Right, so there is nothing in the network that doesn't cater for users, but like I say, we are here to progress and make the industry better. We aren't here to help criminals push money into regions.
Look, I mean, on that note, basically, I would like to add a beautiful statement here. The NuGenesis network is really a network, it's a people's network, and it's really meant to reach a lot of people in need. And anybody who is thinking to disrupt this network, honestly, they're just going to do damage to people who are already in a bad situation in life. And that's basically, it's a standard form of today's basically texture of in some societies.
What we're trying to talk about is we do a lot of charity. A part of our system is the charitable systems.
Yep.
So like right now in April, we're testing 100,000 people, supporting them through NuCoin as being the actual payment system for the whole area. Right, so any services that we have, they'll be utilizing NuCoin for that service. I mean, in fact, recently, just a couple of days ago, anyone in Australia who joined the Elite Wrestling Australian program will tell you that NuCoin was the preferred method of payment for Elite Wrestling Australia. Now we're in discussions at the moment of being the preferred payment method for a lot of ventures and a lot of aspects. One of the key things is charity, right? Fundraising. I mean, we believe that utilizing blockchain, we can show exactly where things are going. We can show you how things are going, where it's going, where the money is going. So we can keep a track of your fundraising. We can keep a track of what's happening. We aren't doing the fundraising. We are giving an aspect of people doing fundraising and utilizing blockchain to do so. We do have our own systems, and we do, from our treasury systems, allocate funds to help people. All right, but that's what Luay is talking about, and not the LOUs. So the NuGenesis network has been designed really to be a people's network. And from day one, we are designing something to help people.
Okay,
no, well said. Thank you very much, Huss.
So let's change the scene a little bit. Now, we let's be frank, we had a bit of an embarrassment that we didn't see coming about being too good to technically integrate with old tech of the exchanges. So maybe that's not the best way of putting it, but you can elaborate on that. So over the last couple of months, we've had to improve on technical integration, and you've built APIs and SD kits and all sorts of things to make it efficient, and I'll ask you to talk about that. But we didn't see it coming. So tell us about this problem of being too good.
Okay, well, let me rephrase it. I know what you're at say.
Yeah,
let's not say too good, let's just say innovative. So the way different. We chose an approach of innovation. Approach of innovation is always different. Okay, so better or worse, that's up to the people to decide, because ultimately, obviously, it's a people decision of what is better than for a use case. On that note, we did not factor in that other companies would not have the skill sets that our developers had. So when we looked at cross-chaining with exchanges, we assumed that an exchange or a person in positions would have developers on par to the developers we have, and that cross-chaining would be a very insignificant issue. Now, what we failed to see that, unfortunately, what we consider cross-chaining may not be what they consider cross-chaining. Right, so it's a very, very different part on a technical basis. We hit a lot of hurdles. I mean, right now, even with servers upgrades, Probit was one of the guys we should have already been on. Right, Probit should have been on from January. I mean, even late December. It was in late December, and we shifted over to January. And we were very clear with these guys, giving them the code, giving them everything, explaining to them what we are. We aren't. They just assumed because the blockchain that we used to connect to them was a substrate-built blockchain, that it was a Polkadot chain. I mean, the worst thing for anyone working with us is to think that our technology is, in any retrospect, close to Polkadot or any of the other substrate frames. I mean, it's just completely, I won't say idiotic, but it's completely wrong to suggest that one chain is like the other. So what happened was...
Very well said.
Yeah,
very well said.
What happened, we explained it very well to them. We explained it very well. I mean, me and Luay had a very extensive meeting to them, but they haven't seen the level of technology,
Can I just add one small element here?
Right.
To the extent where they approached us, and this is for our NuGenesis platform users, they approached us and they asked us, which date do you want our coin to be listed?
Correct.
We selected as an anniversary aspect, 31st of
it was 1st of January, 31st
no, 31st
December.
Yeah, sorry, 1st of January.
Because
actually,
they were closed 1st of January, they said 2nd of January.
Yeah, and they said 31st of December, 1st of January is basically festive. We understood that. They said, would the 3rd of January be a good date? We said, no problem, a few days later than that. And based on that, we did run a campaign. And unfortunately, that did bite us back unintentionally. But just for the audience to know that we have done everything possible, and everything is documented with our engagements with other technology companies. So we pretty much record everything. Everything is based on evidence. But we do want to say that, unfortunately, out of our hand. And I'll just push back to us.
On that note, they were integrating with Cosmos and Solana. So they were doing a Solana integration and then a Cosmos integration. Now, their servers are still not stable. So when I say not stable, this is internal. It means that they have to wait for a period that once the integration of the earlier mainnet chain is stable to integrate the next main server.
Which is a standard practice.
Now,
that's a good standard practice.
Correct. It's a very good standard practice. But NuCoin is the next mainnet that's going to be on Probit. Now, we don't blame Probit in any given way. I mean, the problem is not the naiveness of previous. They haven't had someone approach them. I mean, this game is marketing. Let's be honest. I've never seen a bigger marketing industry than this crypto industry. I mean, in fact, in the early days, everyone knows in our company, we refused to let any of details go out in terms of marketing because we realized, I mean, there's no substance to this industry. I mean, it's probably 5% substance and 95% marketing. It was what we didn't want to become. We didn't want to become marketers. We wanted to become the innovators, the tech hub, where you want to come. I mean, right now we're integrating and working with AB and Jenny, and we'll introduce you guys to them later, in terms of one of the largest platforms to ever be developed in the history of mankind. I mean, right now on crypto. And we'll go into more details now, and I can tell you now, and they'll explain to you. I mean,
one of our strategic partners.
Yeah, we're able to integrate from start to finish and get everything up and running from the blockchain system within 30 days. I mean, there's no one else that can do anything like that. And we aren't talking about we're talking about proper treasuries. We're talking about proper treasuries. We're not talking about a promise from someone to deliver. And we personally like the crypto space, all right? Both of us are crypto enthusiasts. So we don't like saying Cardano promised or anyone promised or Solana, and they haven't. What we do say is we've actually delivered, right? So we aren't going to attack anyone and say they promised, they didn't deliver. What we will say is, yes, we have problems. Yes, we have issues we've still got to fix. But the ultimate thing is the back end of our systems are brilliant. They're all delivered. Our blockchain is incredible, right? Our blockchains, I mean, everything, our wallet systems, our swapping systems. Most people don't even realize when they use NFT City, they're able to swap NST to NuCoin. That's pure pegging system. NST is pegged 1-to-1. Do you understand what a 1-to-1 pegging system is? All right, everyone talks about USD, all right, USDT. USDT is not a pegging system. We have a blockchain which is able to take, or a system, able to take a full peg. So let's just say you've got $1 in your bank account, it will mint one coin, which is equivalent to $1. If you've got $1 million in your bank account, it will mint 1 million. If you remove $100 out of that bank account, it will burn $100 worth of that token. We are talking about pure minting, pure swapping. All right, a lot of the systems you see right now, because it's not explained to most people, this is R&D for us. Right, that's the truth of the case. This is all R&D because no one's done it before us. But the systems are in place. They have been for a year. They have been. You guys have been utilizing them, not realizing what you're actually utilizing. So when we start to explain these things, you'll understand why they're so significant. Right?
And everything that we kind of express basically comes in conjunction with a legal framework. Correct. And also comes in conjunction with a compliance framework.
We haven't got an ICO.
That's our triangular approach.
We refuse an ICO. Do you know any coin out there or any system that hasn't done an ICO? We refuse to do an ICO. We will never do an ICO for any of our systems, right? We will give you what was delivered, and then it's up to the people to decide from there on in. Absolutely. We will not give you a promise to develop a blockchain to raise capital on something we can't deliver, nor will anyone else that utilizes the NuGenesis network, right? This raise capital to build technology is not allowed in our system. We don't believe in raising capital to build technology. We will support people to build the technology and support them to put their coin out onto our network. But we will not allow someone to utilize the NuGenesis network unknowing to the person who's taking it if that system's ever going to be built. I mean, how long has it taken to do something we consider very simple as a treasury system with other blockchains? I mean, Absolutely. We consider the treasury system to be one of the easiest things we achieved. I mean, compared to the technology, let's be realistically. It's not a big achievement for us. For us, it was something so small. But then you've got other mainnet users or mainnet chains, which have been 3 years, 4 years. And we're talking about dominant, big player chains. We aren't talking about your smaller chain. All right, so very, very adamant that our company will always try our best. We always will be honest. If we fail, we'll tell you we failed. If it's our fault, we will say it's our fault. We will never hide from any truth. Now, we made a mistake and we basically had faith in an exchange saying that they will list us on a date. We did announce it. We do apologize. I mean, from everyone here, we had no control over it, but we do apologise. We decided from there on in never to fall into that mistake again. We will announce it when it happens. There will be no pre-announcements. We will not tell you guys next week we'll be listed. When we're listed, we will know we are listed. All right. We don't like to disappoint. We like to give a result. All right. We do not like to disappoint. And on that basis, we want to be very adamant that from here on in, we will only let you guys know when something actually happens.
No, that's very thankful and thankful from you to go to that depth and express and your words of expression. Actually, summarizing it on we only moral grounds is very important in our approach, basically. And
I think we're coming up also now.
Very considerate. Yep.
So
Very considerate in terms of Sorry.
So the last question is how you deal with trolls and those who cry scam every time something goes wrong. Now, it is an unfortunate characteristic of this crypto space that those who are true believers in distributed ledger technology will change the world are invaded by scammers. Scammers ruin it for everyone. But scammers are the least of the problems. The real problems we see are the trolls who cry scam every time something is announced. And we've seen that throughout the entire process. For example, the NFT platform that was receiving the butt of trolls, yet it was perfectly functional all the way through. Other chains don't seem to have it that hard for some reason. Tell us about your frustration and how you deal with trolls and those who cry scam.
I'll start that. And you can take it.
Actually, I think I'll leave that portion for you because you've dealt face to face in such situations and.
Okay, so let me just tell you a policy we have here. I'm the CEO of the company, and I like to actually, especially when it comes to trolls or people who are sending complaints, I like to deal with them personally. I always have. Right?
To be in the center.
Yeah, I absolutely. I like people. I like to be open. And now, the issue that we're having is most people that come in and create problems. It's because of past history that they've had. So we've said about this before. This industry is always 95% marketing. And the problem is most people don't go out there to do the hard yards to find out if this is a marketing or if it's reality. So one of the issues we had was the NFT platform. I mean, a lot of people came out and said it's bullshit there can't be an NFT platform which is gasless, which is feeless, which can run at such speeds. But the NFT platform is live. The NFT platform has an explorer which basically shows you the transactions occurring. The problem is most people are naive to the technology. They don't understand even what they're looking at. So they'll go on the NFT platform and they won't even recognize what they're seeing. Most people who out there knows what the Explorer does. I mean, you guys know on NFT platform, we're a layer 1 NFT platform. If you go on our Explorer, you can see the transaction occurring on the blockchain. All right, do you understand the significance of that? We aren't talking about a layer 2 solution. We are talking about layer 1
and
blockchain transactions.
So on that note, seeing also a thumbnail of what was
correct
purchased and what was sold basically.
Correct. Past history, thumbnail. I mean, this is the prototype. This is not even the final version that we're bringing out.
Correct.
This is the beta version. This is beta version 2. If you see the final version, of course the final version is a lot more advanced. This has been limited to use. And this limited use case is much more significant than anything out there. Just imagine, I mean, just use your imagination. If this is the beta, just imagine the full version. The problem is people are not taking the initiative. So these guys that we're discussing, there's only a handful. I mean, there's only 4 or 5 of them. It's not a large group, right? But they're not taking the initiative to actually go and find out what is real and what is not. So we tell them, guys, it's very simple. Just use the Explorer. And then what we've done also, we've connected the Explorer into the Polkadot Explorer. So people who have no faith in an independent Explorer are actually able to go on the Polkadot Explorer and actually make the checks to the Polkadot Explorer as well. So I found the issue with and it's not more the trolls, because the trolls are very different. The trolls are there to damage reputation. They don't care about the crypto space. And most of them won't know nothing about crypto anyway, because nobody who's a crypto enthusiast or an NFT enthusiast or a digital asset enthusiast or a blockchain enthusiast would ever attack a crypto or fintech company or a company developing technology which is visible. All right, we aren't talking about marketing, we're talking about visible technology. The problem is the people that are attacking are the naive people who don't understand the industry, who most likely have friends in the industry and they want to say this is fake, you're being ripped off. I mean, come on, Bitcoin came out. What was the first thing about Bitcoin? 7 years ago. I remember 7 years ago having this discussion about Bitcoin. 7 years ago. No, me personally, I remember 7 years ago, not even when it first came out, 7 years ago, having a discussion about Bitcoin, where my family and friends, because obviously I followed crypto and I was trading, were telling me that this is all, excuse the English, this is crap, it's all fake, it's blah, blah, blah. And even today, I mean, how many people do we meet today and say digital assets are all fake? All right, so this is natural for evolution and natural for our industry. What is not natural is when someone does it out of spite. So someone who continues to attack a company or continues to attack a post. Now, originally we thought, you know what, let's just let them go, let them vent, all right? But it got to a point where it was out of idiocy. How can I put it a better way? It was out of, spite and not education. It was out of poor behavior or poor manners and not out of respect. So it was just easier to block them out of the channels. It's very simple. All right, but we prefer not to block people, even right now. I mean, I think we've only blocked 3 people since the channel, all our social media, all the platforms have been open. We've had three blocks, that's it. And it's very important to understand why. I mean,
being mentally unobjective.
Correct. But
simple.
In terms of the technology,
which is unfair to the person, unfair to others.
I think that's about it. I mean, it's not a huge issue. It was in early days when people were criticizing and the explorers 100%. Went up. Once the explorers went up, it became very easy. I mean, you can just jump on NuGenesis, jump on NuCoin. The explorers are there. You can actually witness this stuff. And if you don't know how, ask us. We'll show you. And we've actually got videos out there on how to use the explorer. The explorer is the most powerful tool in the crypto game. All right, you can see what's occurring, how it's occurring live. All right, and again, guys, I know a lot of people don't realize this. NFT City, it's a beta version. What we're achieving in NFT City is unbelievable. Go in there, look at the explorer. NuGenesis, NuCoin. NuCoin has a USI palette, a USI attached to every single coin being minted. I mean, this is a serialized coin. We can type, and when I say serialized, we can have a relationship between a serial and a coin being minted. Never has anyone in any industry that I'm aware of, a lot of projects may have made it earlier but never got out there, have done what we have been able to achieve.
Correct. No, absolutely. 100%. Well said, Huss.
But the support, before I finish, just because of the note, I have to admit we've had so much great support. I mean, a lot of you guys always contact us. I mean, you guys speak to us, and we love it. All right, we can call anyone. In our company, we don't have a policy of speaking to a staff. You want the CEO, call the CEO. As soon as we're free, we'll call you back. We always call back. Right? You want a message us. We'll always reply. And I can guarantee you, it is us replying. It is us going there. Now, obviously, the bigger we get, it's going to become much harder. So let's just be very clear of that. In early days, it was very possible. In the future, it's not going to be possible. All right, we're not even going to lie and promise that you're going to be able to, in the future, contact every single department. What we'll say is the frequent asked questions will be answered. We will have AI answer a lot of these questions. All right, our office is open. You want to drop by, drop by. We have no issue. Now, again, very clear, in the past, it was very, very possible. But right now, our networks are growing. I mean, we're over 1.5 million social media followers right now. Right, we're growing at a rate which is pretty large. I mean, we're at 8,000 users currently, or 8,000 plus on the NuGenesis, on the NuCoin wallet. And we're expecting really another 300,000 to 500,000 users within the next year. So once we get bigger and bigger, the truth of reality is you can't just contact one of us. I wish it was possible. I mean, what are we going to do? Sit down all day, take your calls? It's not going to be possible. But we'll put systems in place to answer your questions.
Absolutely.
And whenever there's necessary, I mean, we'll be around, we'll ask whatever questions come through, and we'll try our best, but that's all we can promise. All right, so let's wrap it up, guys. We know we've taken a lot of your time today. We thank you very much for everything. I've actually really enjoyed these questions. I really appreciate these questions coming through. We will continue to do them until we have enough questions. If there is no more questions, we'll stop doing these programs. But until we reach a point where there's no more questions coming through, we will continue to do the AMA. All right, thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. Well done. And actually, just a final statement. Thanks to our NuGenesis platform audiences for giving us this opportunity to share all the good deeds and share all the good technical values with them. And we're always here for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.